He left me for my cousin, so I built a $1 million empire. I just can't pretend anymore, Maya. Bella is the woman I'm meant to be with. That was what my husband, Liam, told me, standing in the middle of our cramped living room. I looked at him, exhausted after a 14-hour shift, and whispered, "Then pack your bags and take her." A year and a half later, I owned the most successful artisanal bakery in the state. And the look on Liam's face when he saw me glowing, successful, and wrapped in the arms of my new fiancé, well, it's a memory that still makes me smile over my morning coffee. Let me back up. Liam and I had been married for 4 years. For 3 of those years, I worked 2 grueling jobs, waiting tables at night and doing data entry by day, just so Liam could finish his software engineering degree. We were completely broke, but I thought we were building a future together. I even started saving up for a down payment on a house, putting away $20 here, $50 there. But then he landed his first big tech job. Suddenly, he was making 6 figures, buying tailored suits, and going to fancy networking mixers. And who did he start taking to those mixers? My younger cousin, Bella. Bella was a luxury travel influencer. She had the perfect blowout, a closet full of designer bags she couldn't actually afford, and a knack for making people feel important. Liam was practically drooling over her online feed. Whenever I brought it up, he told me I was just being insecure and that they were just networking. Then exactly 3 days before our anniversary, he sat me down. "You and I, we just aren't on the same wavelength anymore," he said, not even looking me in the eye. "Bella understands my ambition. She fits my new tax bracket. You're just holding me back." 7 years of my life. 7 years of eating instant ramen, wearing shoes with holes in them, and ruining my back to pay his tuition, all tossed into the garbage, because my own cousin knew how to pose for a camera. I was completely, utterly broken. I packed my things, left him the apartment I had paid for, and moved into a tiny rundown studio. A few weeks later, my aunt called me, practically singing through the phone. "Did you hear the news? Liam and Bella are officially moving in together. They just look so perfect together, don't you think?" I hung up, blocked her number, and sank to the floor, sobbing until I couldn't breathe. I needed an outlet, something to stop my mind from spinning. So I started baking. I've always loved making bread, but now it became my absolute obsession. I would stay up until 3 in the morning, kneading dough, taking all my anger and betrayal out on the flour and yeast. One chilly Monday morning, I walked past a struggling local bakery. There was a handwritten sign in the window that read, "Help wanted. Early shifts. No experience required." I walked in, flour still on my jacket, and took the job. The owner was a gruff, older man named Sal. He told me I looked like I needed a distraction, and he was absolutely right. I threw myself into that bakery. I arrived at 4 in the morning every single day. The smell of rising dough and melting butter. It was my therapy. Up in that kitchen, it wasn't about Liam. It wasn't about Bella. It was just me and the oven. Sal noticed my work ethic. He tasted my recipes, and within 3 months, he let me revamp the entire menu. I introduced sourdough croissants, infused pastries, and artisan loaves. The neighborhood went crazy for it. Lines started forming around the block. When Sal decided to retire, he pulled me aside. "Maya, I want you to buy this place. I'll give you a deal you can't refuse." I drained my meager savings, took out a small business loan, and bought the bakery. I rebranded it, worked 18-hour days, and slept on flour sacks in the back room. But it was mine. Within 6 months, we went viral. Local news stations featured us. Food critics called my bread the best in the city. I was clearing $40,000 in pure profit every single month. I hired a team of 12 bakers, expanded our seating, and finally started living again. That's when I met Caleb. Caleb owned the regional agricultural supply company that delivered our organic flour. He was 6'3", built like a lumberjack with these kind, crinkling eyes. He didn't care about designer clothes or social climbing. He cared about hard work, and he treated me like absolute royalty. We started dating, and for the first time in my life, I felt truly safe. 6 months later, he proposed under the stars on the bed of his vintage pickup truck. And a few weeks after that, I found out I was pregnant. Life was incredibly, impossibly good. Then came the invitation. My grandmother's 80th birthday party. The whole family was going to be there, including Liam and Bella. I didn't want to go, but Caleb held my hand, kissed my forehead, and said, "We aren't hiding from anyone. You have nothing to be ashamed of." I wore a stunning, emerald green dress that hugged my new baby bump. Caleb wore a tailored charcoal suit that made his broad shoulders look practically illegal. When we walked into that banquet hall, the entire room went dead silent. Liam was standing by the punch bowl, and when he saw me, his jaw practically unhinged. I wasn't the tired, stressed-out girl wearing old scrubs anymore. I looked expensive. I looked happy. Bella was there too, but she looked miserable. She was wearing a dress I recognized from 2 seasons ago, and she kept glaring angrily at her phone. Halfway through the dinner, the drama finally exploded. Liam stood up, clinking his glass, looking completely disheveled. He clearly had had way too much to drink. "I just want to make a toast," he slurred, "to family. And to honesty, which is something Bella knows nothing about." The whole room gasped. Liam turned to Bella, his face red with rage. "Why don't you tell them, Bella? Tell them how you drained my bank accounts to pay off your secret credit card debt. Tell them how my tech startup went bankrupt, and the moment the money stopped, you started sleeping with your personal trainer." Bella's face went completely white. She stood up, threw her napkin on the table, and screamed, "You're a broke, pathetic loser, Liam. I'm leaving you." She stormed out of the hall, her heels clicking aggressively against the tile, leaving behind a room full of stunned, whispering relatives. Liam stood there, humiliated, stripped of everything. And then, his eyes found mine. He walked toward me, practically stumbling, with this desperate, pathetic look in his eyes. "Maya," he whispered. "Maya, I was so stupid. You were the one. You were always the one. I see it now. Please, we can fix this. I'll do anything." He reached his hand out, aiming for my arm, but he never made it. Caleb stepped forward. just a few inches, placing his massive frame firmly between me and Liam. He didn't yell, he didn't have to. The quiet, toughing stillness in Caleb's posture made Liam freeze instantly in his tracks. I didn't lose my temper. I didn't cry. I looked at Liam, the man I used to worship, and I felt absolutely nothing. Liam, I said, my voice cold and perfectly steady. If you ever approach me again, my lawyer will handle the communication. Do not contact me. Do not speak to me. I gently touched my baby bump, a protective instinct taking over. Caleb wrapped his warm arm around my waist, his presence grounding me. We turned our backs on him, and we walked out of that room. We kept our pace slow, elegant, and completely unbothered, while the rest of my family erupted into chaotic whispers behind us. The next morning, I didn't wait for the dust to settle. I called my lawyer immediately. I knew Liam was desperate, and desperate men do stupid things. I had my financial advisor run a complete audit of my bakery, proving that every single cent was earned after my legal separation from Liam. Sure enough, 2 weeks later, Liam's chief lawyer sent a letter, claiming he was entitled to 25% of my business, arguing he was instrumental to my emotional journey. I laughed so hard I nearly spilled my tea. My lawyer replied with a single brutal file, a mountain of forensic accounting documents, lease agreements, and bank statements, proving Liam had absolutely zero claim to my empire. The letter basically said, "Try it, and we will bury you in court fees." Liam dropped the claim the very next day. 6 months later, I gave birth to a beautiful, healthy baby boy. Caleb was holding my hand the entire time, crying like a baby himself when he cut the cord. Today, I own 3 bakery locations across the state. I cap my workload, relying on my amazing managers so I can spend my afternoons at home, teaching my son how to bake cookies. I heard through the family grapevine that Liam is currently working an entry-level IT job, living in a cramped apartment with 3 roommates, trying to pay off the massive debt Bella left him with. And Bella, she got canceled online after promoting a scam crypto coin and hasn't posted a travel video in months. Sometimes the best revenge isn't a screaming match or a dramatic social media post. The best revenge is building a beautiful, millionaire life and letting them watch you shine from the absolute bottom.